Hey guys, it's Forsaken Reality here with the 33rd episode of the Remnant tutorial series. If you haven't already, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button so you get notified when I upload new tutorial videos. And in this one, we'll be setting up a melee combat system. So when we're not aiming, we'll be able to move through a combo and do our melee attacks. We're not going to be setting up the mesh switching yet in this video. In the next video, we'll set up that. We're just going to deal with the combat combo system itself and the melee attacks. And I'm going to be setting up with 3 animations, but it's very easy to set up as many animations as you like. So you can have 10 animation combo, 4 or 3, and I'll show you how to adjust that yourself. I'm just going to, actually no, I'm in my test project right now. So I'm just going to move my test project out of the way here. And we have our project here. First thing we're going to do is get some animations, and I use some of the melee animations from here, three of the attacks, which I will leave the converted versions in the description for you guys to download. But you can get your own and use the bulk animation converter from one of the previous episodes, I believe the 6th episode. And you can convert any animations you want yourself, or if you already have some other animations that are already set up for the UE4 mannequin, you can also use those. But you can always just use the ones in the description. So the first thing I'm going to do is create a new folder in my animations, character animations folder. Melee animations. And I have 3 here selected, already converted, which I mentioned will be in the description. So I'm just going to import these. Master skeleton, import all. For some reason these animations take a minute to import. Maybe because of the ones that are converted. And once we have these imported, I'm just going to rename them. Just check to make sure it's the first one. So it makes it easier for me to find them when I set them up later. Attack 1. Attack 2. Attack 3. I believe that's the one that I have 3, the spin attack. Yep. We actually want to open these back up. Enable root motion. And if you ever want to open up multiple animations at once, you notice that it opens it up and it'll swap it out. But we can open a new window. And it'll actually open up multiple animations. You don't really need them open now. I'm just showing you that. This is a useful tip. And we can close out of all of these once we enable root motion. Select all of these, hold shift and select all of them. And or you can use control to select individually. And we're going to right click, create AnimMontage. That'll create a montage for all 3. And inside of our montages, we'll want to add a notify. For skeleton notifies, stop animation. And I'm going to put that up here somewhere where the swing kind of finishes, which that's actually a decent spot there. And we can just copy this notify and paste it in here. Notify kind of where the animation ends there. So that's when it will blend back in. It's good there. Okay, so we have our montages set up. While we're dealing with animations, I'll actually go into my animation blueprint. And our default slot is in the wrong spot here. Right now it's only playing for lower body animations. We want to plug this in over here, like that, and drag this over. And reconnect it on the other side of our layer blend, so it's not blending for just our base pose, which would be our lower body, and this is our upper body blend. So now our default is on its own. now that we have that done, we can head into our character blueprint. First thing I'm going to do though is open up my project settings, and in my input, I'm going to change this to attack, because this is not only just going to be a shoot input, it's also our attack, our melee attack. And we'll plug this in, delete that, file and save. And now we want to check if we're aiming here. Just gonna move that over a bit. Hold B and click to create a branch. Plug that into false. So animation check. And aiming. And if it's true, we're gonna shoot, and if it's false, I'm just gonna print string. And this is where our melee attack is going to be performing, just to test that out. We're not aiming, it's doing a melee attack, and if we are, it's shooting. So that works fine. Now we're going to I'm just going to close out of this, and my animation blueprint. Now we're going to want to go into our items, weapons, and our master weapon. And in here, we're going to create a new function called melee attack. Compile and save. First thing we're going to do is get our character reference. Set animation playing. And now we're going to check our melee count. We're going to work on our combo system. So first off, I noticed that I had this in the drop-down menu here. This is all the variables besides the character reference, the weapon data, and the item ID, because weapon data will be for both, and so will the item ID, and the character reference is not a ranged weapon. So you can click one of your variables, type in the category range weapon, and then just drag all your variables into the category. And just to show you an example of that, I have the range data here, and then you can just drag any variables you want in there, and you can organize those a little bit. And now we're going to create a couple new variables. First one is going to be current melee count. That's going to be an integer. And max melee count. That's also going to be an integer. And my maximum is going to be 3 combos, 3 attacks. You can set that to whatever you want for yours. And the final one is going to be melee attack animations. And we're going to set this up per weapon in the next video, but for now we're just going to set this up like this so we can have our combo system working. And you want to search animation, montage, AnimMontage. Get an object reference. So now we have our 3 variables that we needed created. And you also want this set to an array so we can have multiple animations. And I'm going to have 3. So attack 1, attack 2, attack 3. And basically the max melee count will have the matchup with the amount of animations you have in here, starting with 0 as counts as number 1 here. So it'll be 1, 2, 3. You can add 4, 5, 6. You want to make sure you change that to 6 if you did that, for example. But we're just going to have 3, so I'm just going to delete these. So first thing we're going to do is, rather than just grabbing those variables like that for any weapon, we're going to get specifically one of our melee weapons. So it'll only count the melee on our melee weapon, not every weapon we have. So you want to get your current melee count, get your max melee count from your melee weapon greater than or equal to. So you're checking if your current melee count is greater than or equal to. It should never go greater than, but that's just in case it ever does for some reason. Mainly we're looking for the equal to, so if it's equal to these or greater than, the first thing we're going to do is set our current melee count to 0 again. And we're going to play a montage, but we're going to get our replicated montage from our character. So server play montage. And before we finish setting that up, I'm just going to finish setting up the current melee count. So to add 1 to this, every time we play a montage, we'll get our current melee count plus 1. We'll set our current melee count. So each time an animation plays, it will add 1. And if the current melee count gets to 3, it will reset it back to 0 and it will play an animation there. And the way we'll get the animation, we will get our melee attack animations, drag out get our current melee count. So the first time it runs through, it hasn't added anything to it yet. It's running through. Plug that in there. And when it gets to here, it will play 0. And 0 is our attack. And then it will add a count. And then you attack again. It will add another count. It will be coming here. And this will be 1. And it will add 1. And then it will add another 1. And then when you run through it again, it will be at 2. And it will run through it, will add to 3, and then when it gets to here, if it's at 3, it will reset it to 0. So basically just looping through your animations. And I'm just going to make some room here because I'm going to want to comment some things. And we also want to get our mesh. Set our play rate to 1. So I'll play the animation there. That adds 1. I'm just going to remove these bubbles. So basically we'll reset the value here. So we're setting playing animation true here, and the notify we set for stop animation disables this variable whenever we're running it in the animation itself using the notify. So we'll comment this. It's going to check if our current melee count is greater than our max melee count. And that should be everything for playing through the melee attack animation. We just want to browse to our melee weapon. I'm just going to go to melee, master melee. And make sure your max melee count is set to correctly here. And also in any children, you want to make sure that value was set to 3. I know in my test project it didn't set it, but here it seems to have set it. So that's good. Now we can come back into our character and into our attack action. We can delete that print string. Get our melee weapon. Play our melee attack. Let's test this out now. And seems to not be working here. I think that's actually because animation check's false. Aiming is true or false. One moment. And I found our mistake here. So you want to go into your items, weapons, master weapon, to your melee attack function. Scroll over to here. Right now we're only running through if our current melee attack is greater than only when we reset. But if it's not equal to 3 for the rest of our combo, we need to play the animation still. And we can just click right here to create a pin value and plug that in like that. Make it look a little neater. And now when we play, it'll play through our animations and it'll be shooting. Especially when we're not aiming, we'll be doing melee attacks. The next one we'll look into swapping out our mesh with our knife or whatever other melee weapons you decide to set up. But that's going to be everything for this one. If you found this video helpful and want to see more, don't forget to hit the like subscribe button so you don't miss out on any new video uploads. If you have any questions, suggestions, or comments, feel free to leave those in the comment section below or join my Discord community using the link in the description. Thanks, and I'll see you all in the next one.